Welcome to Miss Marvel, right here at Comicstorian, where we take some of your favorite trade paperbacks, single issues, comic books, movies, video games, and break down the storylines into a dramatic reading or a synopsis to allow you to understand what is going on. With Miss Marvel being the focal point of the new Marvel Avengers game, we thought it was time to finally get back into covering her storylines. So we're going to start with the latest storyline to get you the most up to date, and if you guys enjoy these, then we'll go back and do the older ones. But today we're going to bring you Magnificent Miss Marvel 1 through 5. It was another day in Jersey City as Miss Marvel Kamala Khan defends from the up-and-coming villain, the Deathbringer. He yells that she is a foolish girl and that she should surrender now or be destroyed. Kamala asks, does he really want to do this? And without another word, Deathbringer takes out his gun and begins to open fire, which allows Kamala to shrink. She then leaps behind, smacking him into a nearby dumpster. And as the smell of the dumpster begins to spread, Kamala covers her nose, asking, can we just get away from this stink? And Deathbringer rubs his head, telling her, yes, I yield. So later that night, she returns home to find that her house is rather dark and quiet. When she turns on the light, she sees her mother and father sitting in the living room, and she asks why they're acting all weird. Her father, Yusuf, says that he found some terrible things. The worst part of it all is that she has been lying to him. He knows about her double life. He knows she is Miss Marvel. Kamala turns, shouting, asking her mother, Munira, how could she? Yusuf gets up yelling, look at yourself, scalding your own mother. Because she wouldn't lie to me for you? Kamala tries to think of an argument, something to fight with her parents about this. But she stops, telling him that she's just sorry. She didn't think he'd understand. That he would just lecture her on how dangerous it was to be a superhero. There are so many people that she has helped. Yusuf takes her hands, telling her that it does not surprise him that she'd want to use her powers to help others. But there's such a thing as giving too much. He has seen the news clips. How many times has she almost died? That is why this parading around, God alone knows where in a costume, trying to get herself killed, is over. As of tonight. Kamala shouts that he can't do this. It's not like she's the only one hiding things in this house. And she storms outside onto the stoop. But as she tries to figure out what to do next, her phone goes off with a message from her friend Bruno stating 911 at Circle Q. Kamala yells that she's going to the corner store, and as her mother Munira tells her no, she scoffs, stating that they can be mad at her later, after she saves her friend. So a few moments go by and she arrives at Circle Q, and a large blue humanoid wolf roars, with Bruno calling out to Kamala that he's really glad to see her. He was working on his extraterrestrial threat detector that he's been rigging up, and it started to go nuts. Before he could figure anything out, this slobbering wolf monster dropped out of the sky. The wolf turns to swing its mace, and as Kamala stretches and ducks out of the way, she checks on Bruno and he asks her, hey Kamala, have you been crying? She's stunned, shocked, turning to him. What? No! And Bruno asks, is it because of what happened yesterday? Kamala grabs the wolf, throwing it outside, telling him, I'm a little busy. Can we talk about this later? As the wolf slams into the wall across the street, it slumps over and begins to turn into runny goo. And Kamala says, I didn't throw it that hard. Did I? As Bruno gets ready to respond, the extraterrestrial threat detector goes off again, and he says that there's more trouble on the waterfront. The two hurry over as a purple bird creature attacks, and as it swoops down, Kamala shrinks, jumping onto its back. Once into position, she grows in size and turns her hands into meat pulverizers, crushing the bird's body between her fists. But before she could pull her arms, the bird begins to turn into goo like the wolf, and she just asks, again? This is so gross, it's almost cool? Almost? But once again, before the two could figure things out, the extraterrestrial threat detector goes off again. And this time, the signal's coming from Kamala's own house. She rushes back home, running inside, asking where is everyone, and Yusuf and Munira tell her that they are here. What's with all the noise? Kamala hugs them, telling them that there's nothing wrong. She just thought that they were. But before Kamala could fully realize it, her parents begin to turn into the same goo as before. Before long, Bruno comes in telling her that he got her as fast as he could. Are the aliens? And Kamala turns back in tears, asking, what happened to my parents? Bruno tries to think of something comforting to state, and then says that they need to think straight. This doesn't mean that they are gone. This could just be a trick. We need to figure this out, so we should probably start back at where the first two attacks took place and find clues. So, Bruno and Kamala return to the scene of the attacks, and they don't find very much. But soon a ping begins to go off coming from the airport. They rush over to find out what's attacking now, and that's when they spot a 3-headed frog thing? Without any hesitation, Kamala charges in to fight the creature, but one of the heads lashes out with its tongue grabbing hold of her. She shrinks down, telling herself that she's going to regret this, and she jumps into the creature's mouth. Within a few seconds, she grows in size, bursting out of the creature, and then as that creature falls to the ground, it also turns to goo like the others. She sighs, asking why she can't just get a break. And that's when one of the warehouse garage doors begins to open. Inside is a small tent, and within that is her parents. Kamala runs over, ecstatic, hugging them, telling them that she loves them so much and that she's so sorry that this happened. But before she could go on, voices from behind can be heard. Thank goodness, you have fulfilled the foretold signs. When she looks back, Kamala sees 3 aliens and asks if they're the ones behind this. Were they the ones that kidnapped her parents? As Kamala balls of her fists, the aliens state, "She tests us! Stand fast! She is mighty but righteous and will now smite those who serve her! Behold, she is the sword of Safa, the shield to 1,000,000 children!" Kamala stops, shouting, "Who the hell are you people and what are you talking about?" One of the aliens asks, "Do you not see? With courage you faced the Beast Legion and you vanquished them, and with your brilliance you've tracked us here. You possess the 3 qualities. You wear the sickle and shape." One of the other aliens takes out a book with a picture depicting Kamala, stating that she is the destined one, and it is written that she will return with them to live on their world or their planet will die. Kamala stops them right there. "What the heck are you talking about? And who are you people? Are you people?" Bruno scans them and says that they are definitely extraterrestrial of origin. Unknown species, pretty close to the human anatomy though. Yusuf asks if his daughter is being harassed by aliens, and she pushes him back, stating that she can handle this, and the aliens tell her that they mean her no harm. They came to test the destined one so that they could be sure, but please, our world will soon be under attack by the Beast Legion, and you are our only hope. Yusuf steps forward, yelling that his daughter is not going to fight in outer space. And the aliens try to reason with him, but Kamala says that maybe she is supposed to go. Munita then says that Kamala will never stand down and neither will her father, so there's only one solution for this. Kamala can go as long as her parents are taken with. Yusuf looks back asking if she has gone mad, and Kamala says that is a terrible idea. Just then one of the aliens yells that the destined one has accepted her duty and her honored parents will stand by her side. We will depart now. In a brilliant flash of colors, Kamala opens her eyes to find herself seated at a large table with her parents in an alien palace. The server yells, "Behold, by the grace of our rightly ruling king, a feast worthy of the welcomed destined one." Soon the king steps out, introducing himself as Malagazir, and he would like to welcome them. As the 2 aliens from before come in, Kamala says that she does have one question. Where is the guy with the eye patch? Malik tells her that he will answer her question in a moment. First, behold the world that she will save. Behold, resplendent Safa. As the curtains fall, revealing a beautiful city, Munita says that she has had enough. Why did they call her daughter the destined one? Malik says, "Of course! Though my noble sage center sacrificed himself, his brothers right and left will tell the tale of our people." Kamala asks what sacrifice, but right and left open up the sacred tome and explain that their story will be shared with all of those who wish to hear. Once, long ago, their people lived in peace. But as time went on, they were enslaved by the unseen masters and forced to build the great machine. The Beast Legion were constructed with no minds of their own, and they were chained to serve the unseen masters. But then came the destined one. She fought the Beast Legion, freeing the people, and promised to watch over Safa. After their planet was saved, the scrolls foretold that the Beast Legion would return, and that they will not face their enemies alone, and that the destined one would return. Malik shouts that he has seen her actions. She wears the shape and bears the sigil. He judges her the destined one. Kamala looks at her costume and says that it does sort of look like the symbol on the picture. So a short while later, Kamala and her parents are brought to their bedroom for the night. And as the night arrives, Kamala becomes restless and can't sleep. She shrinks herself down, squeezing through the door to her chambers when she overhears the guards talking down the hallway. One alien asks if the destined one slumbers, and the guard tells him yes. The chamber is sonically sealed. They have made certain that the prisoner's cries won't disturb her. Hearing the word prisoner, Kamala begins to follow along. She sees the guards shocking a prisoner, asking where are they? Where are the traitors? And the chained man says that he will never tell them. So Kamala grows, stating that she doesn't know much about this planet yet. But she does know that assaulting a chained up person with a cattle prod is not okay. As she bashes the 2 guards, the one alien in charge runs off, stating that he must inform the rightful ruler. Kamala then breaks the chains holding the man in place and asks if he's alright. The man rubs his wrists, stating that she is whom they call the Destined One. She has his thanks. His name is Cheb Hura, and he leads those who refuse Malik Zir's rules. For weeks he has been here. All is not as it seems. If she is truly here to save the people of Safa, then she must come with him. Kamala says that she is not so sure, and Cheeb points to the scars on his chest, stating that she must not ally herself with a man who would do this. After waking up her parents and hardly explaining anything, Kamala follows Cheeb to the hangar to steal one of the skycrafts. As everyone gets in, Munita pulls Kamala to the backseat, stating that she can sit here and her father can sit next to the muscular shirtless man. So Cheeb hits the thrusters and they rocket the group into the sky. But watching from afar, it's Malik, the ruler. He tells the gunner to blow them out of the sky, and fear not, if she is truly the Destined One, she will survive. Now fire! As the man on the cannon fires, a second later, the skycraft explodes. Kamala quickly grows herself to create a shield around her parents and Cheeb, and a few moments later, the skycraft crashes into the grounds. Once Kamala comes to, she checks on her parents, and Cheeb stumbles out of the woods, asking if she is the one who saved them. How can he ever thank the Destined One? Kamala asks if they would all stop calling her that, and Cheeb leans in, stating that she must forgive him. He was raised on stories of her. What shall I address you as? Kamala blushes, telling him, Miss Marvel? And Mudita clears her throat, stating, ahem. Cheeb says that they must hurry. Malik Zir's forces will arrive to ensure that they are dead. They can use the tunnels up ahead to make their escape. Once inside, Cheeb says that he and Miss Marvel can scout ahead to make sure it's safe. Yusef says that they will do no such thing, and Kamala yells, please, you have to trust me. Stunned, her parents pause for a moment, and then they state that they will follow her then, Miss Marvel. As the two go on ahead, Cheeb says that there is something that he must confess. He was born and raised in the palace. The tyrant Malik Zir is his father. Kamala tells him that she understands how hard something like this must be to him. Her father wants her to stop being a hero. Cheeb says that her father only thinks of her safety, and Kamala forces a laugh. Dads, yeah, right? She then thinks back to the other day when she was walking through the park with Bruno. They began to express their feelings for one another, but out of the corner of her eye, she saw her father, and he was with another woman. Soon she snaps back to reality when she hears someone calling for help. Kamala rushes out of the tunnels towards the source of the call and finds several guards capturing one of the rebel settlers. The rebels look over, asking if it could be, and she wastes no time taking down the guards. Cheeb follows behind, knocking out the remaining ones, and then Yusef and Munita come out asking what happened. The rebel kneels down, stating that he was just saved by the Destined One, like the stories have told, thank you. Cheeb gets up, looking at the small village, stating that this is Mudcrust. Instead of offering food, Malik gives them armed oppressors. Perhaps she will be the one to change that. Just then, the engines can be heard, and Kamala tells everyone to get along the walls. Seconds later, skycrafts go overhead, and Cheeb tells her that that was well spotted. They need to hurry to the well. He brings them to an old dried-up well where he pushes a button, and it reveals a stairway. As they all go in, from the shadows, a large man steps out, asking what do they have here. The man grabs Cheeb, hugging him, and Cheeb says, hello, Knuckle. We need food and clean water. So they wash up, and everyone has a feast in honor of their guests, and they celebrate that the Destined One stands with the free people. But before they can even truly get started, the alarms go off. Kamala sends her parents with the elders, and while they try to argue, Kamala tells them they have no time for that. Within seconds, the battle begins, and Kamala runs in, enlarging herself, clearing out all of those that she can reach. But before she could do more, Malik flies in himself, telling everyone to stand down. If this continues, the esteemed parents of the Destined One will pay. The guards behind him raise their weapons, and Yusef yells, don't listen to him! I'm not scared of them! And Kamala yells for them to wait. She will do whatever they want. Malik says good. She has his word. But first, just then, one of the aides flies in, stating that there is something wrong. The orbital detectors, they are! A low rumble can be heard as everyone looks towards the sky to see a black hole forming. And as it opens up, the Beast Legion pours through, armed to the teeth, headed straight for them. Cheeb yells to Malik that they need to work together to face the threat of the Beast Legion. Malik hesitates at first, but he tells him, you're right. We need every warrior on Safa to come to its defense. Two of the beasts fly directly towards Kamala, and as they roar, she enlarges herself with an unbiggening, crushing one while grabbing the other. She slams the one that she grabbed and begins to beat him into the ground, yelling, "Stay down!" Cheeb cuts into another beast, stating that there are too many, and Malik tells him that these creatures are bred to only kill and die. Even united, their forces will not hold for long. Kamala asks if they can regroup and mount a defense, preferably somewhere up high. Malik laughs, stating that she is wise in the ways of war. Her valor has crushed the beasts who set upon us. Cheeb says that it is a grim sight, but she allowed the elders and the children time to hide. She saved 500 children. Yusuf overhears the conversation and asks Munira, "Did you hear? Our daughter's a hero." With a short breather, Malik tells everyone that they will retreat to the palace while the others stay and stage the defense. The king's advisor asks for forgiveness, but he has already received word from the palace. It has fallen. It is the end then. Safa dies today. Right and left yell, "Wait! There is a way! The Great Machine! We must get the Destined One to the Great Machine!" And Cheeb shouts, "Absolutely not! All of those who approach are struck down by its strange power, driven away, driven mad, even slain. We cannot ask the Destined One." Kamala stops him, stating, "You don't have to ask. I'm going." So Cheeb and Malik fly a pair of skycrafts over to the Great Machine, with Cheeb stating that only the Destined One can get close. Yusuf yells for them to hang on. They can't just but Yusuf stops. "No, I know you can do this, and I believe that you can. I'm so proud of." At that moment, the skycraft is struck and it explodes, with Kamala expanding herself to make like a parachute, shouting, "Are you getting really tired of being shot out of the sky?" Malik lands the craft, telling Cheeb that they will make their stand here. He needs to take the Destined One to the Great Machine. As king, he was misguided, but none of that matters now. Let the others know that he willingly gave himself for Safa. Cheeb stops him. "Goodbye, father. If only things had been different between us." As Cheeb takes off, Kamala yells, "Hey, you can't leave him!" And Cheeb says that Malik Zir sacrificed himself to get her. And soon the Great Machine begins to affect everyone except Kamala. So she begins to make her way to the machine alone. It welcomes her as if she is destined to come, and at that moment the hollow monitor turns on. An image of a woman wearing a similar costume states, "All glory to the Empire." This is Kree Storm Ranger 2014's Deep Space Sectors Report. The people of this planet call it Safa, uncolonized by the noble Kree Empire. I was passing it on patrol when I noticed an anomalous technology on its surface and stopped to investigate. What I found was an automated battle station of unknown origins capable of automatizing ground units and passing starcrafts, the first stage of an invader's fortress. The weapon was built using indigenous slave labor, overseen by an army of vicious genetic constructs. The constructs seemed to be guided remotely from an orbiting ship. Sensing a potential threat to the Kree Empire, I took control of the battle station using my ship's computer and nanosuit. I used its energy weapons to destroy the invaders and get their ship. The primitive people of this world had been freed. My surveys found the planet unfit for colonization, but there is a matter of what the people here call the Great Machine. I set up a biohaze field to admit only those of Kree blood. My nanosuit has bonded with the machine, so I'm leaving it here for the next Storm Ranger. But as the recording goes on, the nanosuit begins to creep out, begins to wrap itself around Kamala. Within seconds, she finds herself wearing the suit, and she yells out, "Rad!" She begins to place her hands on the controls, and as the machine locks onto the ship orbiting in space, she focuses her attention on it, and the Great Machine fires an energy blast into the sky! The beam shoots into space and through the orbiting ship, sending it down in flames. Everyone begins to cheer as the Unseen Master's ship begins to plummet and the Beast Legion retreat. Kamala stumbles out of the Great Machine and Chi brushes over, stating that she is hurt. Allow him to heal her. As he takes her hands, Kamala feels a soothing warmth all over. She blushes and quickly pulls her hands back, stating, "Whoa, that's enough." A short while later, Kamala and Cheeb return back to the others, and one of the children runs up showing a picture that he drew, and some text. Kamala asks if it's a space fanfic of her. Oh my god! Cheeb then looks at the suit that she is still wearing, and Kamala says that she might hold on to it for a bit. Yusuf says it looks right on her, and as terrifying as it was, he was glad he was able to come with on this adventure, to see Miss Marvel. Munira says that she is too, but how are they getting home? Left walks out and tells them that this is where he comes in. It would seem that his old life was meant to end here. Allow him to give one last sacrifice to bring them back home. And Kamala yells no, they can't allow this, they'll figure out another way. But Lev stops her, telling her, "It's my destiny to do this. I miss my brothers, and there is no nobler passage to the realm of tranquility." She whispers something into Lev's ear, and Lev says that he can do that. And a few moments later, Cheeb tells Kamala farewell as they are pulled into the same type of portal that brought them here. In the blink of an eye, Kamala finds herself in her room. She asks what she's going to do with the suit, and without doing anything other than thinking, the suit pulls itself off and turns into a backpack. Just then, there's a knock at the door, and Kamala's parents tell her that they need to talk. She hugs them, shouting that they survived, and Munita asks, "Survived what?" Kamala asks, "Wait, do you guys not remember? Wait, neither of you remember? Oh God, did you forget my secret identity as well?" Munita sits Kamala down, stating, "Please, this isn't time for one of your fanfics, or whatever it's called. You have to listen to what your father has to say." Yusef sits down, and after taking a deep breath, he says that he went to the doctors the other day. New Jersey Center for Rare Diseases. He is sick, and there's no cure, Kamala. And that concludes Magnificent Ms. Marvel 1 through 5. Now, since the game just came out, there's a legion of Ms. Marvel fans out there. I feel like you guys are going to want this. In all honesty, you're going to want more of these, but I need you to let me know, do you want more Ms. Marvel? Give this video a like, share it with your friends. Let's get people watching this video so that we know that you want more Ms. Marvel. As of doing this video, there is an original Ms. Marvel line of about 40 comic books that we can cover. There's also this line, which is going on for 17 issues. If this video gets enough likes, we'll continue this storyline right here. Then we'll kind of double back, very similar to how we did the Red Hood storyline, where we did all current ones, and then we doubled back to the older stuff that we missed out on. Either way, guys, I know Ms. Marvel is a fan favorite, and I know she's now finally got a video game. She's getting a TV show. I thought we should bring this to you guys. A ton of Ms. Marvel storylines. I've always been a fan of her books, as it's like a retelling of a young superhero, but it's not just like a young Spider-Man again. It's the idea of Spider-Man, that young hero that we can all relate with, but as a different superhero with different powers. It's a great superhero, one of my favorites, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button if you so choose to, and you can also sign up for our YouTube membership so you get early access to videos just like this one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time right here.